What's up guys, Kyle with HypertroFit and PectusWarriors.com. Today I'm going to walk you through the core piece of equipment in my gym, the most slept on power rack in the entire fitness industry. This is the Titan Fitness X3. Let's go. Macro Chief, the macro tracking app that I personally coded and continue to update every month. Set your goal, list your habits, and let the app take it from there. Mastering your nutrition has never been easier. Try it for free today on iOS. Let's get clear on the dimensions first. The X3 is a 3x3 5/8 inch rack. It's available in 90-inch or 80-inch uprights and 24 or 36-inch width. I actually have a bit of a combination here, and that is a story in and of itself. In the back, you can see this is the 80-inch upright, and then in the front, we have the 90-inch uprights. This is going to be mostly compatible with just about any other piece of equipment that other manufacturers make that is in this same spec, 3x3 5/8 inch, and it is part of why every manufacturer is moving to that standard, because it just makes cross-compatibility super nice for the consumer. So most racks you're going to see are going to be 3x3, and then the main difference is going to be, is it 5/8 inch, which is the X3, or is it 1 inch, which would be like the Titan series or the PR5000 Rogue Monster, whereas those other companies are making the PR4000, which is the same as this, or the Rogue Monster Lite. So now that we know the dimensions, what makes the X3 special? Well, first and foremost is just going to be the price, straight up. So if you check this out on Titan's website, if it's on sale, it's going to beat every company handedly. If it's not on sale, it's probably still going to eke them out on price. And everything that Titan provides is going to be with the shipping charge built in. So it's free shipping on everything that they sell. Looking at Titan products specifically and Titan attachments for the rack, this originally came with these super simple, just regular standard J-cups. I still keep them on the rack, but I honestly never really use them. I ended up picking up two other types of J-cups. So we have the sandwich J-cups here in the front, which get regular use, and then the roller J-cups, which are one of my absolute favorite attachments and something that I recommend for anybody that has a power rack. These are the older ones that have the screw-in pin, but the newer ones actually have a nice pop pin, so they're even quicker to move around. I also picked up the strap safeties. Originally, this came with the pin and pipe safeties, which are good for saving your life, but other than that, it's going to tear up your bar. They're super loud, super annoying to adjust. The strap safeties work just like a J-cup. They flip right in and out, super quick and easy, and they are dead quiet. So you can do rack pulls or any other safety assisted exercise without just deafening yourself. And they also save your barbell, because this is just a piece of fabric instead of dropping this on a hard piece of metal or even like a UHMW sleeve like I have up here. Beyond those Titan attachments over here, I also have a few other companies. So these safety arms are actually from Rep. So this is for their PR4000 series. Again, cross-compatibility with this spec of rack is amazing. I also have the landmine from Rep and a few other pieces up top here. So the pull-up bars that you see here, the ones in front are the Prime Fitness rotate handles, and those are not compatible with this rack. I actually drilled my own holes to put these up here, and I made an entire video on how I did that if you want to check that out. My absolute favorite pull-up handles, but it's not super realistic for a lot of people to make that work. That is attached to the Titan X3 dual pull-up bar. And the reason I picked this is so that I could add those, but it's nice because it's actually a cross member that goes across the top. And then we have two pull-up bars, a high straight pull-up bar across the top, in addition to my rotate handles. I don't ever use this bottom one, but it's there. And then what used to be my favorite pull-up bar is the Titan X3 adjustable handle pull-up bar over here. These handles move all the way in and out, and they have 8 different hand positions that this handle can spin around to. So you can quite literally hit any direction, any type of pull-up or chin-up that you want. And the only thing that these can't do that the Prime Fitness handles do is allow you to rotate through the movement. So these are obviously going to stay locked in for that, but on the flip side, the Prime handles can't lock in. So that's part of why I have both of these and why I still use both of them. So the overall attachment ecosystem for the X3 rack is phenomenal. The one place that it falls off is if you want the built-in functional trainer. So if you've seen the rep racks like with the Aries or the Athena, or you've seen the Rogue Indie rack, all of those that allow you to drop the stacks in on the side here and run the functional trainer cables out. The X3 rack does not have anything like that, and those pieces of equipment are very much purpose built to the rack. So those are not going to be cross compatible, even though they're all 3x3 racks. So that is going to be the one downside to the X3. Titan does have some bolt-on pulley systems that you can use that are functional trainers, but they wouldn't be within the same footprint, which I think is probably the biggest selling point to those. In my case, I have my own functional trainer in a separate space, the Repidonis, which I am going to do a video on very soon, but I didn't need that type of functionality within my rack. But if you are somebody that just wants the rack to be the rack, this is honestly as good as it gets. Every company nowadays is making a 5/8 inch version of their attachments. In the past, it might have been more common to only have the best of the best be in that 1-inch configuration, but that's just not true anymore. I'd say the only thing that I even find to be a relevant piece of equipment that doesn't fit compatible with this would be like the Rogue Rhino, which obviously is an entire piece to add on to the back, and for most people is not going to be something that you're looking at anyways. In terms of the J-cup functionality, strap safeties, safety arms, pull-up bars, whatnot, you're going to be able to do just about anything you could possibly want within this type of configuration. And when you're shopping for a pull or for a power rack, the main thing that you want to consider beyond footprint and ecosystem is going to be price. And honestly, if you look at what the Titan X3 rack goes for sale at, it's almost unbeatable. If it's on sale, it is unbeatable. If it's not on sale, it's typically going to be the head-to-head versions of any other company's offerings. The welds have gotten much improved from where they were in 2020. It looks like a really solid, clean rack. This is just the matte black finish. They have a bunch of different color options. I will say they don't have the laser engraved numbers on the rack, if that's something that you're interested in. They do that on the Titan series, not on the X3. So I just took a silver Sharpie and ran that up and down all of the posts so I know exactly where I'm plugged into. The 5/8 inch holes do provide the Westside spacing, which are the 1-inch holes in between through the bench press range of motion, and then above that they move to the standard 2-inch portion. So that is really nice for getting your J-cups dialed in perfectly for bench press, as well as your safeties on squat. So if you're trying to really get that at the safest spot, or if you're doing very incremental changes with rack pulls, the Westside spacing is phenomenal and something that I don't think I could ever really go without, even if I wanted to move up to a 1-inch rack, because those don't allow for it. This rack is going to work great in most spaces, like I said, with an 80-inch configuration and a 90-inch configuration possible. As you can actually see exactly what that height difference looks like here. It's going to work in most spaces. My original gym was necessary to get the 80-inch rack because I had an 82-inch I-beam running through the middle of the basement. But now in the taller space, the 90-inch is awesome. If you wanted something taller, the X3 does not come in any higher configurations. Titan series, Titan's Titan series does, but the X3 does not. An issue that I specifically encountered, which most people are very unlikely to have to deal with, but in my case, like I said, I started with the 80-inch uprights that I purchased in 2020. Well, I bought these new 90-inch uprights in 2025 and came to find out that they're actually not compatible, even though they're both X3 uprights. And what I mean by that is the uprights in the back here, the front holes actually start lower to the ground than the 90-inch uprights, meaning that they're off the ground. So I had to take extra bits of rubber from my floor and insert those, actually stacked 2 of them under each foot in the back here so that that would sit level with the rest of the rack. I don't know if this is simply an old version to the new version problem, or if there's still a continuity issue with, or compatibility issue with, the 80-inch and 90-inch versions of this rack. When I bought it, I didn't think even twice about it because it's the same brand, same company, but I did run into that issue. Thankfully, I was able to alleviate it with some extra rubber. So if you are using an older Titan X3 and you want to upgrade or want to add more posts, then just know that that is probably going to be the case for you as well. If I was to build out a new Titan X3 rack from scratch, the first things that I would pick out, obviously get the dimensions for what makes sense for your space, whether it's the 80-inch or the 90-inch or the 24 or the 36-inch width. Beyond those base dimensions, the pieces that I would add immediately, the roller J-cups, really can't say enough about how amazing these are. The strap safeties, because they can support absolutely anything. Save your bar, they're super quiet. Once you use them, you will never want to go back to another type of safety. And then the weight pegs, so that you can load weight on all 4 corners, unless you're building out a 6-post rack, in which case you can obviously just load that on the back. This is the bolt down version, so you're supposed to bolt this to the floor. I've never done that before because I've always had a bunch of weight loaded up on this. So when I had this as a 4-post rack, I had weight pegs on all 4 corners and I had 45s loaded up on all of them so that it didn't move. But if you are not bolting this down, you need to do that because you cannot risk having this thing tip over when you're loading up a bunch of weight. Obviously, if it is bolted down, that's less of a concern, but I would recommend the easiest course of action just being throwing the pegs on and loading up the plates so that this thing does not move on you. So if we were to add all of those things up, the rollers, the safety straps, and the weight pegs, you're still coming out a little bit under $1,000 for an incredible ecosystem that you can build out on top of. It's not the cheapest thing in the world. Obviously, you could get on Amazon and find a $300-400 rack, but if this is something that you plan on continuing to grow into and build off of, I highly recommend getting into a 3x3 system. Whether you do the 5/8 inch holes or the 1-inch holes, either one is going to treat you incredibly well. 5/8 inch, definitely more on the affordable side, and also gives you that Westside hole spacing, which you're not going to get on the 1-inch rack. So all in all, I think the X3 is an absolute no-brainer if you don't need the functional trainer in the rack, and if you are just going to be using this for rack-based training, it's as good as it gets. It really is. So that is the Titan X3 rack. It is one of the greatest pieces that I've ever purchased. It's an incredible value compared to the competitors, and this is coming from somebody that, as of the recording of this video, I am not affiliated with Titan Fitness. I have Rep Fitness affiliates, I have some other ones, but this is not something I'm going to get paid to say. I've just owned this for 5 years. It's been a phenomenal piece, and I rank it up there with every other company. It doesn't do an in-rack functional trainer, which was something that I didn't need. So if that is something you're looking for, look elsewhere. The PR4000 from Rep and Rogue also does a great option with their Indie trainer. But beyond that, if you just need a rack and it needs to do barbell related work, this is, in my opinion, as good as it gets. So if you enjoyed this video, consider liking and subscribing to stay in tune with what I put out in the future. And if you want help with your own training, I am a personal trainer and nutritionist coach for the last 10 years. This is exactly what I do every single day. We can build a plan specifically around the equipment that you have access to, whether that's your home gym or a commercial facility. Get in touch with me at the links below. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will catch you again in the next one.